Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
Mute and start your video so they know you're here.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Awesome.
I'm waiting for Brenda here.
Hi there, guys. Can you see me?
See you.
Good.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to see you guys.
It's really nice, and we're really happy that this is the. Is this the lib?
This is Earn While You
Learn while you
Learn.
learn.
In this back, Bob and I thought this was a great idea, so we're so happy that you agreed.
Hi, Brenda.
Yeah, we're super excited as well.
Yeah, we're just really excited. This is a really cool session. We really hope that we could have some great material that we could share after the fairs with the young people, because I think it's awesome that you guys are here and doing this, and it's even more awesome that they're all in Canada.
Yeah.
That's right.
Go figure.
We love Canada colleges, absolutely.
I wanted to earn while you learn A, but
Yeah.
that was not part of it. Thank you all so much for being here, and we look forward to getting in touch with you in the future, okay?
We're going to get out of Brenda's hair so she can do her slide.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, ooh, on my screen. Okay. So welcome. I was having a little technical difficulty, so this is my backup here.
I am too, so let's hope.
Okay, if you want to test out your screen shares, so I'm gonna start in about 5 minutes. It's gonna be 45 minutes long. If you guys want to do like 5 minutes at the end for live Q&A. The Q&A, people are gonna be submitting questions. We won't answer that until the very end. Or if you want to answer in the chat, but don't put it as a live question or a live answer. Let me see here. And then do you guys already know how long you're going to be each doing? About 7 minutes? Okay. So you guys got it all figured out.
Yeah, we have it all figured out. We know exactly who's going in which turns.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so then I'm just gonna do a simple introduction in the beginning, not even a minute long, and then I'll hand it over to you guys.
Perfect.
Awesome. Should I try sharing the screen now to make sure it works?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah?
Let me
Okay.
stop sharing.
I'm glad I'm not the screen sharer today because it's raining here. So I figured, because as soon as it rains, it just goes insane.
The weather. Yeah. All right. Can you see this okay?
Yep.
So
Looks good from my end.
Pardon?
Looks great from my end.
Awesome.
Mine too.
I have a question. Is it blurred out in the middle at all? Or no?
No.
No? Okay, perfect. because the Q&A box pops over to my other screen where it's presenting. So sometimes I wonder if it has like a gray box, but we're good.
You're all good.
Awesome.
you're
Restart. Changes. Perfect. Good. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. I will close it. Because there'll be a different slide, you said, right? That you'll have, that you'll have showing first when people enter? Okay, perfect.
It will
Awesome.
be this one. So let me start sharing that. Yeah, so I'll be showing this one. I'll just basically do like a welcome and all that good stuff, and then I'll hand it over to you guys.
That's awesome.
Remind me why we can't share or say it's answering live again. I remember listening to that in the training, but now I forget why in the Q&A.
Me too.
It shows the person's name and question.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
So when you do answer live, it'll pop up and it'll show anyone, all the attendees, the question, but also who asked the question.
Okay. Okay. How do we know that we've answered it? Can we write something like we can say, or what's the best way
We
to
usually on the Q&A, we just answer it out loud, well.
Yeah, you can answer out loud,
Towards the
or
end.
you can answer it in the chat. I think it says answer privately or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm
Okay.
just gonna say at the beginning, if it's okay with you guys, that we'll just take all the questions in the Q&A as they're coming in. We'll answer them towards the end.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then they just stay in the open question, right? The open Q&A instead of putting the, okay, perfect.
All right, I'm gonna
Awesome.
start this up right now. You guys can see my screen, right?
I'm just going to quickly have to get my glasses. Just a quick moment, please.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna start now. Hi there, welcome everybody to the virtual college exploration for all students, sponsored by the College2Career Fairs and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few announcements before we get started is you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type any questions for the presenters. However, they won't answer those questions until the very end. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And this is just one of the many different sessions that we're offering, which you can see on the College2Career's website. And then this presentation is being recorded, so we will be having this on the website in about a week or so. So now I'm going to hand it over to our panelists.
All right, hi everyone. So a very big welcome to our session. We're excited to be here with all of you to our presentation, Earn While You Learn. And we're excited to present all of the different options for you and the possibility of learning while you are earning at our Canadian institutions. So it just happens today on this panel, all of us are from Canada. So my name is Sarah, I am from York University. I am joined by my colleague Andy from McMaster and my colleague Valerie from the University of Waterloo. So without further ado, let's begin our presentation. Fantastic. So before we get started, I'd like to speak to all of you a little bit about Canada. So Canada is your neighbor to the north, as you know this. We do have 10 different provinces, 3 territories, and 6 different time zones, with a population of roughly about 38 million people. So we are the second largest country in the world. Yes, we are larger than the United States, but we do have a population of roughly about equivalent to the size of the state of California. So just to give you a sense, we are a bilingual country. So the main languages spoken in Canada are English and French. Now, you don't have to be proficient in French to study at any of our campuses, but if you're willing to learn, it is certainly a great option for all of you. Some of the most diverse landscape in the world is actually found within Canada. So this does mean that we have mountains, prairies, deserts, forests, tundra, coastal. As such, you will find a lot of natural beauty in our provinces and territories as well, and also the cities that are within Canada. Institutions here today are represented from the province of Ontario, but I do want to mention that Ontario is a province in East Central Canada. So essentially what that means is we do have over 100 different universities though across the country. So that's something to keep in mind. And Ontario is a province that's East Central in Canada that borders the US and the Great Lakes as well. Most universities in Canada are publicly funded institutions, which means that there is consistency, standards, and excellence in education across the nation. That is something that you will find at all of our universities. Almost all of the universities are publicly and provincially regulated, which means you're going to find consistent quality of education and as well as niche of strength within the respective institutions. In Canada, all schools do offer unique experiences while providing students with quality and academic excellence. So there's never ever a bad choice when you are selecting a university in Canada. Aside from that, the best part is our lower cost of education and for tuition, plus the great quality assurance that you're going to get, and your study permit, which allows you to work part-time or full-time on or off campus as well. Aside from that, students can also apply for a postgraduate work permit, which allows you to obtain a work permit and gain valuable Canadian work experience as well. All of our degrees are portable and recognized worldwide, so you can take your Canadian degree anywhere in the world, and this also means to the United States. Many of our degrees do share accreditations with the United States. Engineering is a great example of that. Costs are similar to studying at an out-of-state college, and they will vary by the program that you are studying here in Canada. Also, something for you to know, we do accept your FAFSA loans, but students cannot bring their Pell Grants when studying outside of the United States, but FAFSA is certainly something that is accepted in most cases for all US applicants. Next slide, please. All right, aside from this, our study permit that we briefly just spoke about. So the study permit allows you to work both on or off campus during your studies. Students can study and also work part-time for up to 20 hours a week when you are enrolled as a full-time student. Students are eligible to work full-time, so 35 to 40 hours a week during scheduled academic breaks. So that is, or during off terms such as summer break as well. You're also eligible for a postgraduate work permit if you're studying in a Canadian institution. So if you have done a 4-year degree, that entitles you to a postgraduate permit where you can work for 3 years. And if you are doing a 2-year Canadian diploma, that entitles you to a graduate postgraduate work permit for 3 years as well. Now, graduates, when you are graduating from your institution, you can apply for a postgraduate work permit as long as you have a letter of completion and the official transcript from your university. And you can start to work immediately as a skilled worker. After completing 1 year of your skilled work, individuals are eligible to apply for permanent residency status, so which comes with all rights and freedoms of citizenship except the right to vote. But worry not, after that, once you have your PR status, it does eventually and can lead to the opportunity of applying for citizenship after a minimum of 3 years. With that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Valerie, who's going to be taking us through the next slide.
Awesome. Thanks, Sanara. All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about cooperative education, or co-op for short. So I'll probably reference that as co-op for the rest of the presentation. And basically, it's a system of study that alternates terms of full-time paid, career-related work experiences with terms of academic study. And so typically, It is about 3 to 6 work terms that are 4 to 8 months in length during your undergraduate degree. The work that you do is fully vetted, structured, supervised, paid, evaluated, and often required for degree completion. It is a competitive employment process and is structured and supported by the university itself. It's not a placement system like many internship programs work. The universities typically maintain relationships with employers and monitor and evaluate students on their work terms. These become part of your student's sort of academic record. And students can access job postings that the university arranges, or they can be self-arranged employment as well. So this work experience is in addition to academic degree requirements. And as I previously mentioned, it is often required in order to graduate. Some of the main benefits of co-op are that it really prepares job-ready graduates. And so you'll get a head start on building professional networks. There's a personal and professional development component to it as well. You can assess potential careers during your studies, and then really tailor your course selection based on what you're learning in these new experiences. You can adjust your academic direction if necessary, if you find a job that you really love and you think that's a better direction for you. Or even better, maybe you'll find something, maybe not better, but also not bad, but finding something that you don't love. The co-op terms are, defined length, 4 to 8 months, like I mentioned. And so if you find something you don't love, you don't have to go back to that job again. And again, you can sort of adjust your career prospects based on that, maybe one experience. It also develops resiliency as well in the work field. And then you can gain those really valuable soft skills as well as technical experiences. It really nurtures entrepreneurship as well, if that's what you're interested in. And then it is learning through reflection, because every work term that you do will require some sort of assignment or personal reflection based on that work term. So by alternating study and work, academic study and work sequences, it allows for multiple work terms. Every school have a different schedule in terms of the lengths or how many work terms are available to you. And remember, this is full-time paid career-related experiences. So taking it back to the title of this presentation, earn while you learn. It really is what it is, and you're learning alongside doing these paid co-op work terms. And then the work term evaluation is also part of your student record. I briefly touched on that already. And then ultimately, your engagement leads to overall success. And so now I'd like to show you how these alternating study work terms could work. So this is just one example from one type of program. But basically, you will do 1, 2, or 3 school terms before you go off on your first work term. And during the study term, before your first work term, you'll go through the full hiring process. This is where you'll actually build your resume, you'll apply to various jobs, you'll go to an interview, and this is all done through the institution. Once you start your co-op work term, you'll typically alternate between 4 or 8 month school terms, and then school and work terms until you graduate. Typically, being a part of the co-op program could extend your degree by 4 to 8 months, but that all depends on the program you're in and the institution that you're at as well. But ultimately, you complete 8 school terms like any other traditional honors degree, and then you will do 4 to 6 different work terms. So really unique approach to getting that experience. So now shifting the focus a little bit to internships, and just want to point out a few of the ways that they're slightly different from co-op terms. This is something or a term that you're probably more familiar with as well. Traditionally, internships are offered as a single experience between maybe your 2nd and 3rd or 3rd and 4th year of studies. It's often managed at the department level rather than a faculty or institution-wide like co-op is. And there is some level of support from the institution, but there's also some things to consider when you are looking into internship opportunities. And so are they optional or compulsory for your degree? So completion of an internship might not be a degree requirement in some cases. And then what does the program structure look like? So are these internships university managed opportunities? Are they advertising only to external opportunities, or do they have to be, you know, self-arranged? Some of those questions are really important to ask when looking into these internship programs. The salaries, the term length, timing is all dictated by the industry, and volunteer positions are not uncommon when it comes to internships. Some examples at our 3 institutions. So at York University, in their business school, they do have internships as a possibility, as well as their science department. At McMaster, their School of Business also has the opportunity to do internships. And then at the University of Waterloo, our Global Business and Digital Arts program has an internship built right into it as well. So overall, there's many similar benefits to co-op, but just maybe to a lesser degree, just looks a little bit different. And now moving the presentation towards entrepreneurship, incubators, accelerators, something students in California might be very familiar with. And so now I'd like to define the main difference between incubate and accelerate. And so incubate means basically innovation. So it's refining the disruptive ideas or your disruptive ideas. It's business planning. This is the early stage of a startup. Networking is super important. It's your chance to do sort of a market assessment and determining intellectual property, so IP issues or priorities for that startup company. On the other hand, accelerate is really more focused on growth. And so this is scaling a proper business. It's very time specific. And some of these programs, accelerate programs, can be very, very selective and competitive. Majority of institutions will offer like co-working environments, mentoring, shared infrastructure, grants, and connections to local communities to help you grow in these areas. And there's around 60 programs across Canada right now that offer some sort of entrepreneurship, incubator, accelerator programs. And so at the University of Waterloo, we have the Velocity program, which is an incubator program for early stage startups. We also have Concept and Greenhouse, which is pre-incubator structured programs. And then we do have the Accelerator Center, which is a local business. At McMaster, they have the business incubator called The Forge. And then York University has Innovation York and Launch York U, which is an accelerator program as well. So you can see it's really embedded into each one of our institutions and across the country. Within the province of Ontario, we also have a number of programs through the Ontario Centers of Excellence, so the OCE, and they basically accelerate innovation through groundbreaking research and then connecting industry and academics and really helping to launch the next generation of products and jobs in the province of Ontario. And across Canada, there's also local incubators and accelerators focused on local needs. They have networks that leverage sort of the size of the community, skills, strengths, and provide those services and connections to that local region. Another thing to note is that they're not always exclusively tech or product focused. Social entrepreneurship is becoming more and more common as well. And where we're located, we're the 3 universities where we're located, we are basically living and breathing innovation. The region that we're sort of located, like I said, is called the Corridor, and it reaches from Waterloo region to the city of Toronto, housing over 15,000 tech companies and over 5,000 tech startups. And so this 60-mile stretch is the 2nd largest technology cluster in North America. And I think you can guess where the first largest is, and why we're often referred to as the Silicon Valley of the North. And with that, I will pass it over to Andy.
Thanks, Valerie. So another great way of earning while you learn, or setting yourself up to eventually earn as you're learning while you attend university or college, as you say in the US, is to learn and participate in research experiences. There are a variety of research opportunities available on campus to undergraduate students in both technical or non-technical fields. And so what might this look like in Canada? Well, in both STEM and liberal arts type programs, students at Canadian universities will have senior classes that are mandatory and part of their programs. Since these classes are part of your academic experience or program, they're likely not going to be paid. However, the fact that you're conducting research in a particular area will help you to develop your resume or your CV that may lead to potential sources of revenue within the industry related to what you're studying in the future. In most cases, honors research happens in your fourth or final year of study, and if you are supervised by where you're supervised by a professor or faculty members. If you don't necessarily want to wait until your final year to start building your resume with research experiences, there are also other research courses that may happen earlier. For example, in third year. The university where I work, there are examples and opportunities for that. These courses normally involve supervision or reporting back to your professors, even if you're designing a research project where you're working independently and you're looking at primary data. Examples of these types from my institution here at McMaster is within our health sciences program, our arts and sciences program, to name a couple. This is within these experiences, students pick a topic that they're interested in, they design a research project, identify an objective, and the questions that they're hoping to address in their research project. They go out into the community, gather primary data, and then report their findings to their class or back to their professors. There are also research-intensive programs, aside from just maybe taking one or two research courses. Aside from these one-off courses, there are also programs where you may start your involvement with research from your freshman year. An example of this is McMaster and our integrated science degree, where you conduct research in areas such as space exploration, drug therapies, among other areas, directly in your first year. Again, these academic experiences that are part of your program are not paid, but they will help you to build your CV and to really give you that foundation that you need to apply for future grant funding, funding to be able to participate in field trips or conferences, which most universities have across Canada, including the 3 that are represented here today. By having a strong CV and research experience, you're able to apply for paid summer experiences or co-op opportunities within your industry. So again, going back to developing, using these non-paid opportunities within your classes or program to develop your profile as it relates to your industry. At McMaster alone, awards may range from a few $100s for travel to attend conferences to dedicated awards that might be for summer experiences that are between $3,500 to $7,500, where there are multiple of those awards given out every year. In relation to co-op and paid summer experience, and participating in research to assist you in getting co-ops, there is a financial component here where co-ops can get you around $10,000 for about a 4-month experience to spending a year and earning between $40,000 to $50,000. And so again, by developing your resume with research experiences, you can land co-op or work opportunities to eventually gain this type of earning potential. So while academic undergraduate research programs may not result in immediate payment, it certainly helps you to build a foundation for potential or future earning. Next slide, please. In terms of other opportunities or other experiences that are available to you that'll help you further develop your foundation and career profile, there are exchanges, field courses, and a high level of career preparation at universities throughout Canada. So irrespective of where you choose to study in Canada, almost all institutions will have access to at least a couple of dozen exchange partnerships around the world. Depending on what you're studying, many universities also have field courses or field school opportunities. It'll help you really build an experiential background during your time at that college or university. In McMaster's case, our nursing program as an example, there are opportunities where those nursing students can travel to remote Arctic regions in the far north or remote communities in Africa to support healthcare practitioners in those locations. In the case of our arts and science program and science degrees, students travel to Iceland to look at geographic or cultural aspects of that country to really complement their studies. Iceland is a great place if you're interested in geology. And so though these experiences don't really add income to your financial bottom line, they will really enhance your profile for future earning. To also prepare you for the future, universities throughout Canada also have a consistent level of career preparation. As a student, you'll have access to one-to-one career advising, job search support, interview preparation assistance, so mock interviews really, and even workshops to really help you put your best profile forward on LinkedIn. Even before you graduate, Canadian universities also have a strong level of mentoring that occurs between our alumni and current students. Mentoring between alumni and networking is really networking and really is an excellent networking opportunity to really advancing yourself in whatever industry or career sector your program is related to. Even after you've left campus, you will receive support as an alumni from universities across Canada. Career and student success offices across our country normally support you for several years after you've left campus. Here at McMaster, we support students up to 10 years after they've graduated through their career journey. And finally, to help you improve your future earning potential, there's also growing recognition on co-curricular records. Learning and skill development, of course, not only happens in the classroom. For example, if you're a student athlete or a member of your school student council, you are learning about communicating, as working as part of a team, and really the dynamics that occur in those types of settings. So in Canada, co-curricular records are essentially a formalized summary of the involvement you've had throughout your extracurriculars and student life where learning may have occurred to really showcase the value that you have developed. And so now that we've talked about earning while you learn as it relates to research and other ways that happens in Canada, I've alluded to a little bit about McMaster. I'd like to, on the next slide, share with you a bit more about McMaster as a university. So as an institution, McMaster has academic programming spread over 6 faculties. We are a medium-sized university in Canadian standards. We are located in Hamilton, Ontario, which is about 45 minutes away from Toronto. Or if you've ever visited Niagara Falls, we're about an hour away from Niagara Falls at the US border. We have just over 200,000 alumni in 160 plus countries. In terms of areas that McMaster is recognized for, we are the birthplace of problem-based learning. This is a style of instruction that was developed at McMaster more than 40 years ago that emphasizes really self-directed research, group-based discussion, instead of large lectures style instruction that you may find throughout universities around the world. We're also very fortunate to be recognized in a number of different ways. In 2020, McMaster placed number 69 out of more than, I believe, 1,300 universities, and 4th in Canada in Times Higher Education's World University Ranking. In 2019, we were assessed as number 2 and 1st in North America in relation to social and economic impact for the work, according to the work our researchers and alumni are doing by Times Higher Education as it relates to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. If you are looking at Canadian universities and in terms of admissions, McMaster looks at your 5 best senior level courses. Historically, we asked for SAT or ACT testing, but this year we are test optional. So you wouldn't be required to submit that because of that test optional status. And then depending on the program, the courses that we look at, those 5 senior courses will vary. And on our website, you'll be able to see those details there. At this point in time, I'd like to pass it over to my colleague to talk about, share a bit more about her university. On the next slide.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy. And so Valerie here again from the University of Waterloo, and I'm one of the international recruitment specialists for the university, and lucky enough to have been able to go to California. We're all missing it right now. Yeah, so if you do have any questions, feel free to connect with me after this presentation. The university is located in the region of Waterloo, a population of close to 500,000 residents now. We were founded just over 60 years ago, and we've quickly grown to become one of the top 200 universities in the world. We're a comprehensive institution with over 100 undergraduate programs across a wide array of subjects. There are close to 34,000 undergraduate students, also considered medium-large by Canadian standards. 20% of that is international students. We're also known as Canada's Innovation University because of our cooperative education program, our unique approach to business, our 100% student-owned IP policy, and then home to one of the largest student startup incubators in North America. Coop really is a big part of who we are, and we are now home to the largest cooperative education program of its kind in the world. And from the very beginning, Waterloo was designed to be different, to teach people to think in really new ways and to connect research and academics with real world challenges and opportunities. And in terms of admission requirements, it's very similar to McMaster. We do look for your senior grades, typically the top 6 scores in your senior grades, as well as any APs that you've taken. But I really encourage you to have a look on our webpage that's on the screen in front of you to explore those admission requirements, and then to connect with me if you do have any further questions. And now I'll pass it along to my colleague.
Fantastic, thanks Valerie. So Snara again here from York University. So York University is the 3rd largest university in Canada. But despite being the 3rd largest university, we are a self-contained campus, which means that everything you see at York is a part of York. We do offer over 150 different programs to our students. We have 11 faculties. And currently at the moment, we do have 3 campuses. So we have our Glendon campus, which is our bilingual campus as well. You don't have to be proficient in French, you just have to be willing to learn. We also built our brand new campus in Costa Rica as well. So lots of work opportunities against folks. Students are able to go there, and you can take study abroad programs, or you could do a full year there, typically in your 2nd or 3rd year is what we would recommend. And we also have a lot of research that is happening in Costa Rica through our Los Nubes rainforest that we do own. So fair trade coffee is also being processed there, and these are all opportunities that our students are able to take part in. Aside from that, 12,000 of our students are actually 1st generation university students. Students come in to study all sorts of different disciplines, different programs. But some of the more popular programs for us time after time is our kinesiology program, and also our psychology programs, our business programs, whether that's commerce or Schulich School of Business, are ranked consistently as one of the best. And aside from that, we do have a broad base of alumni. Of course, we tend to see a lot of students from the United States, so that is very popular for us. And aside from that, our School of our School of Arts, Media, Performance, and Design, so whether that's our theater program or film program, are also very well known, and they are compared with USC School of the Cinematic Arts, as well as the Tisch School in New York as well. So just to give you a sense. Aside from that, we do have everything for students to live, learn, and be successful on our campuses. So despite being the 3rd largest, as I mentioned, we do have over 140 different restaurants. We do have a subway station on campus as well. So again, really easy for folks to get to downtown and really make those industry connections that is going to get you the work experience outside of the classroom, and everything that you are learning inside the classroom, you are able to apply it to the real world as well. And these are the types of opportunities that we are looking to provide our students with. Some of the things that my colleagues have mentioned, so whether that's your co-curricular record, or whether you're looking to visit the Career Center, these offices will work with you as early as your 1st year all the way up until several years after you graduate as well. Aside from that, our admissions is typically based on academics. Our Schulich School of Business requires a supplementary evaluation. And so does our arts, media, performance, and design if it's a BFA. So that will be a portfolio or an audition. But typically for most other programs, we are going to be looking at your academics, which will come from your senior year. So which will be typically in your grade 11 or 12. For next year, so September 2021, we will be going test optional. And we also have a winter entry. So whether you're going to be applying for January 2022, we are test optional and you do not have to submit an SAT or ACT for that period as well. Now with that, we are going to move to our Q&A section where we'll be able to take your questions. Oh, my apologies. We're not going to move to that first. We're actually going to talk about just a little bit about our admission process and how you could be applying to all of our universities. Andy, over to you.
Absolutely. So it's very straightforward. Universities in this part of Canada participate in what is called the Ontario Universities Application Center website. It is very similar to the Common App in the US. However, only 21 universities in this region of Canada use it. Once you go to this website, students from outside of Canada normally fill out the OUAC 105 form. And once you have a list of programs that you'd like to apply to, normally it's possible to apply to up to 3 programs per institution on this website. You'll see the cost information on that website as well. Some universities also have a separate, their own independent application directly on their website. However, all 21 public universities in this part of Canada utilizes this tool. Your payment is processed through here. Your choices are submitted in this central manner. And then after your choices are forwarded to the universities that you've included on your application, your decisions are processed. Essentially, this is where you accept your admission decision or decide to choose any of the other options that are available to you as well. But www.ouac.on.ca is your source to apply to universities in Ontario, Canada, should we pique your interest today. And now I believe we have our contact information on our next slide. We'll leave this on for a few moments. Should you have any questions, you can reach out directly to Valerie, Sunera, or I through email. Or if you have any questions right now, we're happy to address those as well. If there are no questions, what I would maybe ask as we wrap up, Sunera and Valerie, if there are any tips that you might have for students as they are considering Canada, what may be the benefits if you're considering out of state, what might be the benefits of coming to Canada if you think of it as it's a different country, but it's very similar to just going out of state. Either one of you, if you want to jump in with any tips you may have for students considering out of state and maybe moving slightly farther to Canada.
I can start on sort of one aspect, maybe not specific to moving to Canada, but just sort of preparing for co-op a little bit. And so a lot of students are asking me, especially right now during the pandemic, you can't typically do volunteering or work. And so starting to think about some of those ways to still get involved in, creative things. So we will ask, your involvement. So we do have similar things to like a personal statement. I think each university does have something along those lines. So I think it's good to think about it as early as possible. So it could be, something you've done maybe virtually, some other volunteering, some sort of something that you're really passionate in and maybe you've carried through over the last few years or hope to do in the future. Sort of thinking about some of those things. And then if you are thinking of co-op or doing work while you are a student, think about how you could put those onto a resume. And so a resume doesn't have to be paid work specifically. So it can be different types of volunteering. It could show, your leadership skills. So again, it's sort of thinking of it early because the process could start in your first year for co-op potentially. And so just getting creative and what are those sort of skills that you can showcase, even if it's not paid work experience. So that's just one thing I wanted to put out there for co-op maybe specifically, or even thinking of part-time work while coming to Canada.
That's some wonderful advice. And Sunera, you had some great advice in terms of the work opportunities and the policies that support that here in Canada as well. I don't know if you have any other advice related to that, to build on that.
Absolutely. So just how Valerie mentioned, and I think it's important for students as you are researching schools and universities that you will be going to, you could be gaining these skill sets as early as your first year. And as Andy mentioned, our co-curricular records, which really allow you to demonstrate your leadership skills and all types of involvement that you have had on campus. So you certainly want to think about transferring them to your resume because they're all applicable. So start researching early, connect with folks who are giving presentation like ourselves and ask them, what are the different opportunities that their campuses offer and how are you able to then translate these onto your resume? And yeah, that will hopefully help you as you are doing your studies, but also after. So while after you graduate, and this will hopefully land you into the career that will be very fulfilling for you.
And I guess my concluding advice, I'm not seeing any additional questions, but my concluding advice would be to essentially echo what Sunera and Valerie had mentioned, be very strategic by following a good plan. I've met students in the past where they in fact actually made a profit by attending college or university, by participating in opportunities such as co-op, by applying for research grants where they were able to cover the majority, if not all, of their costs associated with attending university. While that might not be happening for every student, if you plan well enough and far in advance, you can help chip away at the cost of attending college or university and make that work to the advantage of your budget. To plan. And one last time, again, I'm not seeing any additional questions, and so I'll turn it back over to our moderator.
So I don't see anything popping up, but I'll just say thank you once again. And perfect, there we go, awesome. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you maybe on our campuses in the future.
Thanks again, folks.
Thank you so much, panelists. I see we still have some time left. We do have one attendee. I don't know if this person has any Q&As for you guys. If you want to put it into the Q&A box. If not, then we can go ahead and end this session. Okay, so thank you very much all for attending. There will be a short survey at the end of this session. And once again, if you would like to review the session, it will be available in about a week on the College2Career Fairs website. Thank you all. Bye.